Hey everybody, this is Gaupnekaren. It's here. It's finally here. Kingdom Hearts 3 has finally been released. And it's been a while. 13 years outside of Japan. You know that this is what Nomura always wanted. He envisioned it. He wanted it to be 13. You know it. Personally, I haven't waited that long though. I got into the series in about 2013 if I'm remembering correctly. I first heard about it way earlier though. I've always been watching Let's Plays, and one channel that I used to watch frequently was called, I think, the Car Brothers, and something like that. I think they changed the name. And I remember that I heard him mentioning something about Kingdom Hearts, with me wondering what a Kingdom Hearts was. Sound like an anime to me, not one of the good ones. After a while, I found out that he had done a Let's Play of Kingdom Hearts 1, and that's where I discovered one of my favorite role-playing game franchises of all time. At first I was kinda like, this the fuck, baby game! I didn't play Final Fantasy then. To this day I've only played Final Fantasy 7, so I wasn't that invested. But over time I became interested, and after a while I learned that my friend at the time had Kingdom Hearts 1 on the PS2, and I asked if I could borrow it. He obliged. And that was an amazing 2 weeks. Even though I still was in the whole "this isn't good because it's kid stuff" phase, I became somewhat low-key obsessed with the series, going on YouTube and watching Let's Plays, cutscene movies, and so on. The next game in the series that I tried out, which I bought for myself this time, was Stream Drop Distance. Yeah, in retrospect it was probably not the best choice as a second Kingdom Hearts game, but I did have a lot of fun with it. Then by the end of summer of 2015, I got Kingdom Hearts 2.5. Oh, the irony. When 1.5 and 2.5 came out, I got it. Then 2.8 came out, I got it. And now Kingdom Hearts 3 is out, and I fucking course got it. Actually, you know what, I'll just throw it out now, even though you most likely know already. This video will be filled with spoilers of the game. Most likely even after the whole plot summary. Many say that the story is honestly extremely dumb, and I wholeheartedly agree. That doesn't mean it's bad though. For me, the whole premise and the way they take themselves seriously brings me a huge amount of joy. The story is really entertaining, but still so dumb at the same time.
My guess is no one's ever loved you before.
When thinking about it, it's kinda like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's really dumb, but it's so good! Oh boy, that was a long intro. I fits to the franchise though. Snap! Let's go! We first begin in the dive to the heart area, visit the demise area from Skyward Sword, and battle against less dark side. Right after that, Sora, Donald, and Goofy are in Master Yensid's tower. The game takes place right after 0.2. Sora has failed massively in the exam from DDD. Sora needs to recover the power of waking or to bring back quite a few characters like Ventus, Aqua, Terra, and eventually Roxas, Naminé, and Xion for some reason. And to do that, the trio travels to various worlds to train and motivate Sora, I guess. They start off with Olympus Coliseum, where Hades plans to use the Titans to conquer stuff. The trio gets blown off a mountain, and Pia and Maleficent is here, for some reason. You know what, I'm not gonna beat around the bush with these things. These serve next to no importance in any way. They search for a black box the entire game. And then the final cutscene comes and they still do nothing. They were teased in 2.5 Recoded and DDD. So this should play a major role, and they still haven't done anything yet. They haven't done anything. It'll most likely happen in the next game, but you know, I'm getting too ahead of myself here. After we ask Hercules about his depression and getting no straight answer, we defend Thebes. After that little thing, we go up the mountain to the top of Mount Olympus and defeat the Titans. After that, we go back to Master Yensid's tower, and he tells the gang to get out of his house. Also, Riku and Mickey are here. Riku and Mickey were in the Realm of Darkness looking for Aqua. Things didn't work out, and Riku's Keyblade was destroyed. However, those things are found easily nowadays, so Riku gets a new Keyblade, which was just lying around. Everyone's made a car key joke, so I won't do it. Gosh, I already did. That's when Sora gets a new wardrobe change and we finally begin the game properly. We first arrive in Twilight Town and deal with stuff there. We meet the Twilight Trio and talk about Roxas and stuff, and we just talk about bringing him back. Like then we meet Raimi, Little Chef. A bistro has opened up and it's owned by Scrooge McDuck. Nice. Never going there, bro. After that, the Disney stuff happens, and it's probably no different than Kingdom Hearts 2, except that there is no second visits. You go to each world, the world has one of the main baddies, plus a baddie from the source material most of the time, and there are different mechanics to each world. That's usually it, plus maybe a lesson to learn. The only things that are relevant to the overall story is that Sora needs to relearn the power of waking, Riku and Mickey search for Aqua, so organization members are doing weird shit, and Kairi and Lee/Axel are doing trainings to become Guardians of Light before the final confrontation with Zero. And by that I mean sit on the rock and eat fucking ice cream. The only things that happen story-wise happen in between and after the Disney Worlds most of the time. But you know, that is the norm of the series. After doing the last of the Disney Worlds, Chip and Dale suddenly scream about the Riku and Mickey. They're not answering the phone. Oh, did I mention that there's phones in the game with Sora's theme as the ringtone? You can take selfies, Scrooge has QR codes for gaps and for the Game & Watch, and there's a bootleg Instagram as loading screens between worlds? I did now. And wait a minute, a bootleg Instagram? Sure, it's cute and all, but why Instagram? They could've used Twitter because Instagram sucks. I hate you, Namora! Riku and Mickey are fighting in the realm of darkness, and they're too late. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't reveal it in the trailers. Sora, through the power of Kingdom Hearts logic, goes to the realm of darkness and battles Anti-Aqua. And suddenly she's bare now! Okay! And right after that we go with Aqua to Castle Oblivion and turn it back to the land of departure. Nice! Vanillas is also there, and Aqua wants to do 1-1 no items. And she wins but fails. But good old Ventus wakes up from the 12-year-long coma. You just need to believe in your power to wake people up! Vanillas goes away and all of them recuperate at Master Yensid's tower where everyone is resting for the final battle. Then everyone goes to the Keyblade graveyard to do battle with the 13 Seekers of Darkness. Ventus sees Terra and walks up to him, and Ventus is struck down. It's good old Terranaut, because time travel, and Sora is knocked to the side. Axel is struck down as well, and just about when he's about to attack Kairi, Sora jumps in, Goofy deflects Terranaut's attack, and Donald... Oh boy, Donald. I never thought that I would almost fall out of my chair laughing too much, but this game proved me wrong. Just watch.
No! Donald! No!
We're not free!
And after that, everyone dies, and that's pretty sad. And when I say die, I mean it. They literally die. Sora is transported to the final world, which is basically the afterlife if you hang on to the world or something. It's kinda hard to explain. Chirfy from Union Cross, a game that I've never touched, appears and tells Sora to collect enough versions of himself to be alive. He does that and even saves the others who are dead by killing a special Heartless, keeping him hostage. Then young Xehanort comes over and says that Sora is gonna die by his own power of waking. He leaves and everyone's safe, and apparently Kairi is good too and held us in limbo instead of the real Dead Sea somehow. And also time travel. Are you confused yet? I fucking sure as hell am! Then repeat to tell Terranaut hits Ventus because now the lingering will is here for some reason. Also more Union Cross. Also, Yensid joins the battle and is Moses of Light. Then we go forward. Now the Team Plasma Castle pops out of the ground again and the Keyblade War to create the Keyblade starts. This part of the game is pretty interesting because you can team up with the other Keyblade wielders and battle against multiple people at the same time. It even gets a bit emotional, especially with characters like Malusha or Luxord. It's also revealed that Xion is part of the 13, but Roxas drops in because of plot and Xion joins the other side. And that's why Axel can't remember Xion at all, but maybe that will be answered in the final mix. Sora fights and Kairi is abducted by Semnis. We're really demonstrating that power. The princess power, that is. Also Terra is back. Everyone gets their turn and it ends with Sora, Riku and Mickey versus Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, Semnis and young Xehanort. After they are done with, Longman Xehanort says fuck you and kills Kairi. Wait, what? Whoa. That's a bit quick. That means that Xehanort has the Keyblade and he basically opens up Kingdom Hearts. And after he leaves, everyone else meet up. Sora, Donald and Goofy go after Xehanort and end up in a weird town which goes by the name of Scala at Kalen. These weird things with the new Organization 13's weapons attack, and they're dealt with. Xehanort says that this is where Keyblade Masters used to be, and that transitions into the final boss where it manipulates the scenery. We found in a box, underwater, and in a ruined town, and finally in a real arena. Finally, Xehanort is brought down, and the others come right now. Peak timing, guys! And suddenly Ericus is back. He resided within Terra ever since BBS, which isn't an asshole actually, if you remember Black Points, and now Ericus and Xehanort go to the afterlife together. I'm not really feeling it since Xehanort is basically somewhat redeemed, and it doesn't really deserve that, especially after everything is done over the course of the series. The threat is over, but Kairi is gone. But Sora leaves, using the power of waking to find Kairi. And if the ending is as I think it is, Kairi was saved, but Sora is basically dead after misusing the power, as young Xehanort hinted at. I mean fucking bashing his skulls in! Everyone else is doing fine though, and even Namane is brought back and is picked up by Riku. If Riku can get the whole package, he might as well get a piece of it. He is a smell creeper after all. Roxas, Lee, and Xian sit on the clock tower and are joined by the Twilight Trio. The BBS trio goes back to the land of departure, and Sora still hasn't had his dinner. In fact, he doesn't want his dinner so much that he goes to the Shibuya crossing while becoming more Final Fantasy-like. Much here in the secret ending is up to speculation. Quite a few people say that Sora went to the real world with Riku giving chase. Personally, I don't really think so. I think that this is supposed to be Shibuya from The World Ends With You, a game that I haven't played, but you know enough about it due to a Let's Play. It makes some sort of sense if you remember the DDD cutscene when Neko said some stuff about see you in Shibuya. But I'm jumping the gun here because there was an after credits scene featuring Lushu and most of the crew from the key back cover. And it turns out that Lushu is actually Sigbar. My brain! It's not functioning anymore, it's too confused! Maleficent and Peach stand in the background and does nothing. And the box is still a mystery! So more questions than answer. Yay for me! And that's Kingdom Hearts 3's story. The Kingdom Hearts story as a whole is relatively easy to understand, but really hard to explain. This game isn't any different really, but I'll say this. The story is conclusive, and is above average most of the time, but the ending might be a little weak due to the lack of character interaction between some of the characters, and there are some areas where I'm just downright disappointed to say the least. The only thing I'll really mention is Kairi. She barely does anything. Yeah, she helps Sora and the rest when they're in limbo, but she doesn't do any fighting. And when she does, she's portrayed as too weak, even though she's hyped up so much as it was in fucking DDD and 0.2. What did she do while she was training? I'd reckon she was getting diabetes from the sea salt ice cream. Thanks, Lee! Either way, I just spent too much time on the story. It's been, yeah, it's like fucking hell, how long's it been used? Fucking 15 or 20 minutes, I don't know, fucking it's been 10, like, ugh, I don't fucking care, let's talk about the gameplay. Kingdom Hearts 3 is basically Kingdom Hearts 2, BBS, and DDD combined, with a few new additions. The layout of the menu is maybe the closest to Kingdom Hearts 2, except that there is no additional menu. You have an attack command, a magic command, an item command, and after the Olympus Coliseum, a link command. Use the attack command to do basic melee attacks with your keyblade. You use the magic commands to throw in a few spells, mostly elemental and the cure spell. The item command is used to equip items like potions, ether, etc. The link command is what you use to summon different characters like Ariel, Simba, Meow Wow, etc. But I only used it once, and that's mostly because that's just my playstyle. I never use summons really. Flow motion from DDD returns, but it's not as broken. Many of the attacks have a reduced area of effect, which is why flow motion was as broken as it was. One thing I do not kinda like though is the nerfing of the explorative functions of flow motion. In the beginning of the game you can only dash off walls very briefly, but after defeating some bosses you unlock a longer dash and even a jump, but the flow motion jump is seriously nerfed. You can only jump once when in flow motion, which I kinda have two minds about. On one hand you can't move like a DDD, but on the other hand it makes the level design more intricate. And the level design is in places open like in Kingdom Hearts 2, but many times verticality is a factor in the level design. This makes the level design perfect for this version of Sora. You can even run up certain walls and such. That's nice. The shot block from BBS returns, but the attack depends on which keyblade you have equipped. Which really isn't a problem since you can equip 3 keyblades. When on the field you can switch between keyblades with the D-pad. Well, I didn't use this feature. I think quite a few people will get some mileage out of it. I mainly didn't use it because you can upgrade your keyblades with the right materials this time. Because of this feature, I mainly upgraded the keyblade I was using the most, which was by the end of the game the favorite deputy from Toy Story World. You can also air step while aiming the shot block, which is used both in exploration and in combat. Also, when you hit someone enough times, a command is available. For example, if you hit the enemy with Firaga enough times, you unlock a one-time use Farasa. Most of the magic works that way, but with melee attacks you can use Keyblade transformations. Keyblade transformations gives you special combos and finishers, which aren't too overpowered, which is good. You even have an anti-sword version of this called Rage Form, which you can activate by choice. You can't heal yourself in Rage Form and you become a glass cannon, so it's probably the best thing to just outright dodge everything the enemy throws at you. The last thing to mention is probably the attraction flow. When you find an enemy, you might see a weird icon appear by the enemy. When you hit that enemy, you get an option to use an attraction flow, which I think is based on this nuance. Not too sure about that though. Sometimes it looks really silly, especially when finding those important bosses, but at the same time, it's so cool! The one thing I do legitimately dislike about it is the frequency of getting it. The icons appear way too often, and I try not to use them too often, and that's something I don't really like. If I wanted the game to be easier, I would have played on standard or beginner. I did of course play on prod since I'm used to Kingdom Hearts. The overall difficulty felt kinda in line with Kingdom Hearts 2, but it was a bit easier. Like, it wasn't piss easy like some people claim it is, but it was a bit noticeable though. However, I'm more lenient on that subject since I played the games this game takes the most inspiration from many times, especially Kingdom Hearts 2. Something else that I didn't exactly find too pleasing was the lack of a post-game, but I'm also lenient on that subject since the game might get some form of Final Mix DLC. Think about it. There's never been a vanilla Kingdom Hearts game with like a lengthy post-game, so I don't fucking get why people are complaining about it now. No, we're finally really on the concept at the last DLC, so maybe we'll get some DLC. For example, we may get some rematches of the Organization 13 bosses done way harder, or maybe some reference to the next Kingdom Hearts game, because quite a few of the Kingdom Hearts games have had some reference. Maybe, who knows, maybe Julius will appear again. But either way, I don't get why people are complaining about this. Because hey, this isn't Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix, this is Kingdom Hearts 3. If you're so butter about the fucking play fucking Kingdom Hearts 1, play Kingdom Hearts 2, and play Birth by Sleep. Vanilla. Nothing else, vanilla. Think about it, Dream Drop Distance, so long was that? Yeah, like the worlds were shorter in that game, but, well, in comparison to Kingdom Hearts 3 of course. But like there wasn't too much. Like you could rematch some bosses, like remake bosses. That was pretty much it. Also, Julius, you fucking had those. Like, why are people complaining? I don't get it. Well, my concept DLC, as long as it's not too pricey, maybe like $5 or $10. Who knows? The worlds in this game are pretty interesting because for the first time in Kingdom Hearts history, Pixar worlds are being used as well, and even some 3D animated Disney stuff, and it looks so good! Olympus Coliseum is a really good start to the game, and it most importantly showcases the character interactions and level design in the game. It's a step up on both ends. The humor is much more like the source material. While there are a few points where it feels kinda stilted, which is a combination of both delivery of lines and animation, that rarely occurs, maybe about 5 to 10% at most. Even after beating Olympus Coliseum, you can see that they've already begun rebuilding Thebes, which opens up a couple of areas. After that, you do a small visit to Twilight Town, which is pretty much Traverse Town for Kingdom Hearts 1 with less to do. Yeah, it's nothing special, but it's kinda nice visiting that world again. Then you have Toy Box, which is the Toy Story world. It's here that you really begin to notice how close to the original source material the developers tried to be. It's kinda easy to get lost, especially when we're near the end, but it's too creative and visually pleasing to hate. Also, the music is pretty good, but 95% of the tracks in this game are the good shit, with both new original tracks and remixes of many old ones. Next world is the Kingdom of Corona from Tangled. I have some fond memories of the movie, and this world is pretty good. You're mostly in the forest, but you do visit the town briefly. The final boss for the area is somewhat creepy looking too. It even tries to trap you in some vines at some points, which is pretty clever since it's Mother Gothels hardness. You know what? You thought about that, but it's fucking good, boss. It's good. All in all, good shit. Next off is Arendelle, and I'll be honest. I'll be fucking honest, I hate this world. Just so you know, this is coming from someone who thought Frozen was okay, so I'm not really a Frozen hater or anything. Most of the world blends in, you need to go up to the Ice Castle twice, with the plan being that you will go up there 3 times, you get a party member as late as 5 minutes before the final boss for the area, and Hans sucks, especially here. You see someone walk to Arendelle with an unconscious Elsa, and you hear from Blonde Boy that Hans is apparently honest lover, but you're never told that the brown-haired guy is Hans, which means that you need some form of outside knowledge to connect the dots in some fashion. That has almost never ever been something in Kingdom Hearts. Even when you finish the world and it's supposed to no longer be any snow around, there's still snow if you return here. I feel that the only reason to why this world in particular was chosen was because of Let It Go, which Elsa sings in the game. They even do it out "Do You Wanna Build a Snowman" song. But Anna talks over that part, and it's only about 1/3 of the song. I guess the Disney world is on its reserves. All in all, my least favorite world. And of course it would be the Norwegian world that will get that title. I would be a traitor to my country, but I'm already one due to my dislike of skiing. So hey, bullet dodged due to already being shot. Next off is Monsters Inc. You know what, it's alright. It looks the part, but it's really railroaded, which I think is a shame, since I personally think that this is one in my top 5 Pixar movies list. I don't really think it's good as other worlds in the game because of the lack of things to do. But really, that's just me. Then there's the Caribbean. This world is really good. You travel around the place on ship to different islands and look for loot. And there's ship battles. And look at the character models! Whoa, look at those smoothness! These are so well crafted that I did at one point wonder if they did live action in some of the pre-rendered scenes. Like, one thing you can do is upgrade your ship, but I didn't really do that the first time through and just faced off against the Kraken on ship level 1, which was challenging but far from impossible. But I did return after completing the game and search some of the islands for the Keyblade materials. Also, Luxor vs. Jack is probably the most epic anime battle you'll ever see.
Look around. We're a little busy. And besides, I've already got all that I want, mate.
After that is San Francisco. It's pretty good. You explore a sizable part of the city. Running up buildings feels so good, and using the airstep is key here. Nothing much else to add really. It's kinda hard to explain each world. Especially this one, because it's pretty late in the game. Then there's one area in the Realm of Darkness, one room in the Land of Departure, and then there's Endgame. There's also a few more in cutscenes like Destiny Islands, Red Mysterious Tower, and Radiant Garden. Wait a minute. Why does it look like Radiant Garden in BBS? It was being reconstructed in Kingdom Hearts 2, but apparently Kingdom Hearts 3 takes place close to Kingdom Hearts 2, as we learned from Goofy in Twilight Town, possibly even less than half a year. You know what, maybe it'll be explained in Kingdom Hearts nailing Wooden Plank for iOS and Android. The game is pretty good. Plays well, sounds great, and looks amazing. The story is maybe hard to get into, but the memory archive function will bring you up to speed. There's a few things wrong with the game, but every game has that fucking aspect. When the fuck then, there's no perfect game out there. But really, how does this stack up to the rest of the series? Well, I think it's pretty good, but it's not my favorite. I probably need some more time to think about it, because well, I think that Kingdom Hearts 2 and Birth by Sleep are better games. Maybe Kingdom Hearts 1 as well, but you know, if it's a contender for top 3, then you know it's good. I hope that the next game improves on the elements introduced here, and maybe I'll make a review on that game when the time comes. But for now, I'll sign off. Next time, I'll review Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal. The innuendos are in full effect, so I'll be working on that as soon as I can. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Bye!